Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger. In the last part, we saved Queen Lean and met our good little frog bud. And now it's about time for us to head back to our timeline, but back in Truce Canyon we got a new enemy, Polly. 99 HP, 30 magic defense, 7 XP, 2 TP, 35 G, and they can drop ethers. You say ether or ether? I
say ether. I've said both, but recently I've been saying ether a lot more.
I generally tend to go with ether because with the way I speak, sometimes ether can be pronounced confused with either.
Either, yeah, that makes sense.
And ethers in this game recover 10 MP, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but the max MP in this game is actually 99, so that's actually a pretty decent chunk.
I do like how this game is treated similarly to, I believe, Final Fantasy 1, where the max is 999 HP and the max MP is 99.
Older versions, yes. I want to say around Game Boy Advanced, at max HP in Final Fantasy 1 became quad 9s, but in this, the max is 99999. That's 3 9s and then 2 9s, by the way.
The max is 99,999. What is this, Final Fantasy 12? Meh.
Anyway, we found this thing again, but apparently we don't know how to get back even though we're here. However, Lucca made a thing.
Somehow.
That can open up these things. A lot of things.
Somehow, Lucca's just a genius.
Yeah, she really is. Considering she has better than steampunk stuff in medieval ages, yeah. And either way, from now on, we're going to be referring to these things what she's referring to them. These things are now known as gates, and the thing she opened it with is the gate key. I don't know how she made that. I'm guessing she just improvised based off the telepod stuff, but it's cool.
We're sending you back to the future!
Really?
I couldn't resist. You know me. I love those movies. Either way, we better get Marl back to the castle, though, because one thing that this game's not very clear on is how long we've been in the past. Some people assume it's been a few hours, some people assume at least 2 days, so we should get her back. But hey, at least we're invited for dinner.
Hey!
And food is good.
Food is good.
And Lucca had to go and do her own thing, so it's just up to us.
Yay for plot convenience!
Super Saiyan 4 Goku away!
Are you gonna work on any other Silver Point thingies?
Not now. Silver Point stuff, the most I do is keep my cats intact. Because first off, as I'm showing off here, we do have the second cat here, and this is where you can check your cat food. The way that cats work is that after a certain amount, the game will automatically take 60 ounces of cat food away to spawn a new cat. You can have up to a max of 11. And I'm not showing that off on screen, but I do that throughout the game. Mostly towards the end, though. Either way, this is Lucca's house. She was talking about robot stuff, and this is her mother, who is crippled.
Oh, please tell me you're going to do something about that.
It's kind of hard. We can't really do anything about the past.
Yes. How sad.
And Taban has to take care of her. There's actually some pretty interesting character ideas that they do with the game. It's just the fact that one thing I don't like about the game is that while the main cast is fairly fleshed out, a lot of the world isn't. Either way, now we're back at the castle. And wow, the Chancellors are all identical. Good lord, that's one strong genetic line. Wait, what? I did not kidnap the princess.
What a rude person.
Dick!
Terrorist!
What? That's mean.
No, please. I don't think.
Yeah, if you can't tell, the Chancellor's a dick in our time period for some reason.
I mean, so was the Chancellor, who was.
Yeah,
not
true. Yakra was
good. Yakra was kind of poopy.
Either way, you remember that judicial system that the previous Chancellor was talking about making? Now we're gonna get tried by it. Oh boy.
So, do you think that there was there a justice system before this anyway? Do you think?
I'd assume there was some level of one, but I doubt it was this fleshed out. It was probably just bring them before the king and he'll decide. And that's our lawyer, Pierre. Now, the way that this part of the game works is that you might remember in part 1 and a bit of part 2, I said I was doing things to influence a later event. This is that later event.
You screwed it up.
Based on your actions at the fairgrounds and a bit of that afterwards, that will determine what happens after the end of this sequence. The same thing happens no matter what. I'll tell you that for a fact.
I mean, not really. I mean,
it slightly varies.
I mean, there are two happenings. Either you get an item or you don't.
Yeah, but it does vary depending on a certain amount of elements. Either way, it's time for us to be tried, and the Pierre is saying the truth. We met completely on accident. However, we started this whole mess because we walked forward and she bumped into us. Therefore, it's on our fault. You want to say that you started it, otherwise something gets wrong. That is kind of the dickish part there. And then well, obviously, you know the rest of the story from there.
Yeah. Also, what I don't like is that it shows an automated cutscene where no matter how you run into her, it will always show that one. I've tried. So.
Now, the way this system works is that if you did the things wrong, it'll show you what happened. Except in this one case. The one thing I screwed up with this trial is, as I mentioned back in part 1, the cat girl. You have to bring the cat to the girl without talking to her first, which, as I said back then, very player antagonistic. If you don't know how to do that first, you're going to be screwed out of that, possibly an entire accident.
I thought you had to talk to her first.
You don't. You have to get the best ending out of that. You have to talk to the cat first and bring it to her without talking to her, and that is stupid. And no, the fortune did not tempt me, and I was not tempted at all.
Are you sure, Kyle?
Yes. Wait. But the way that this trial works is at this point, the jury will cast you as guilty or innocent. The first juror puts you as guilty if you claim the fortune tempted you even just the slightest bit. Or if you tried to sell the pendant. That's how that one works. The second juror is the one I screw up because you have to talk to the cat before talking to the girl. And I don't like that. The third juror is guilty if you try to drag Morrow away from the candy booth, so you have to wait there. The fourth is if you admit the fortune tempted you, or if you picked up the pendant before talking to Morrow, which is why I did that. The fifth juror is guilty if you admit the fortune tempted you. The sixth juror is actually someone we've seen before, technically. He's the guy who had the pink lunchbox at the fair. If you took his lunchbox, you're guilty. And the seventh juror is a bit of a tricky one. He puts you as guilty if you at any point lied in the trial, either by claiming that Morrow started it, or by claiming you never stole anything when you clearly did.
Yeah.
The same event happens no matter what, but the results depend on exactly what happens with the amount of people that put you as guilty. But I'll get into that in a moment. Yeah, the amount of items you get depends.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know for a fact.
So, like, the number of items in the prison, or, like, in your specific cell?
In the cell. And
I've always gotten one thing, even if I've gotten all 7. I'm gonna have to test this out. Dang it all.
And Morrow, despite her best efforts, was unable to stop us getting dragged away. Also, the king is kind of a dick in the present.
He is kind of a dick.
Yeah, well, at least we were considered innocent, so we're just gonna be put away for some time. Now, this is very foreboding music.
I like the very beginning of it.
I love the song in general, and I also love the sprite. Wait, what did you just say, Chancellor? You dick, I am not guilty. Ow.
Sir, please.
I do kind of like this idea that the game is basically saying that sometimes the system doesn't work out because there are people in it that still don't wish harm. Or at least that's me reading too deeply into it.
Meh. I mean, it's that way with America's prisons, right?
We're gonna be executed in 3 days. Great.
Even though the judge said solitary confinement because the Chancellor's a dick.
Yeah, either way, this is our cell. You can heal your HP to the max and MP to the max in the top right with that mug, but the present there depends on what you got guilty/innocent. If you got 4 innocent jurors, the bare majority, you get 1 other. If you get 5, you get 2, 6, you get 3, and if all 7 vote innocent, you get 6. And now there's 2 ways you can go about this sequence. Either you wait the 3 days, which is about, I want to say, a minute our time, or you can rattle those bars 3 times, prompting a fight with the 2 guards. There's 2 ways that can go out, too. Either you go out and you fight both, or you get knocked back into your cell by 1. You knock him out, then you go out and fight only 1 of them.
You don't have to knock him out. You can run in front of him and fight them both for experience points.
Yeah, but with the fact that you have Chrono alone for this sequence, I prefer to just fight one of them if I ever do that. But I actually prefer to wait the 3-day cycle because first off, it doesn't take that much time and it allows for some slightly easier parts of the area to be easy. That was horrible grammar. I apologize for that.
Are you gonna get the special item?
Yes. Like I said before, I clean out every item I can in the game. The only times I don't grab chests are when I either forget they're there, which is very rare in this game's case, or if they're in a timeline that would have the chest be altered in another one.
Which is only 600 and 100, or 1,000.
Roughly. There are some times where the item is much better, like instead of being like a ether, it'll be a hyper ether, which restores all your MP. Either way, time for our execution.
Time to die.
This is one of the more depressing game endings I've ever seen.
Well, it was nice knowing you, Chrono. Roll credits.
This, actually, thinking about it, that could have been a decent idea for time travel use in the game. Going back with, like, Lucca to stop this all from happening.
That would have been pretty cool.
But, well, I can understand why they didn't do it, because Chrono is basically, even though he's silent for most of it, he is the center of attention in the game. He's basically like Link, a player avatar. Oh, that poor guy. And one thing I love about this sequence...
Save him. Save him.
I will.
Because money. Or other things.
One thing I do like about this sequence, though, is how quiet it is. The only thing you hear are, what I'm assuming are footsteps, and that really just sets the mood. Oh, great. At least they sharpened it, which means it'll be quick. I'm a silent protagonist. I can't have any last words. What the... Lucca!
Girl, fight them.
Hi?
It's good to see you. Get out of the way.
Oh, yeah, just stand there and let her blow you guys up. Horrible soldiers.
Yay for realism.
Either way, this is why I waited 3 days. If you waited the 3 days, Lucca joins you now instead of just slightly later. Plus, it gets me over here more quickly. Also, there's a bronze mail in here, and like I said, Kenny was hinting at earlier, save this guy. This is actually, we've technically heard his name before. This is Fritz. You might remember back at the fairy place in Truce Village, his girlfriend was looking for him. And we want to rescue him now just because it'll give us a bit of things later on. And now we can explore the cell area. And the thing is, this is actually part combat, part stealth. You can sneak up on the soldiers and knock them out. And investigating their, not their corpses, their knocked out bodies will more often not get you a mid-tonic or a mid-ether. You do miss out on experience points for doing that, but honestly, the items are a bit more worth it at this point.
It's not a lot of experience points at all, so.
Yeah. Either way, go ahead, Ken.
All right, next we have, let's see, they are guards, 60 HP, 10 experience points, 1 tech point, and giving you 70 gold. They can drop tonics. So needless to say, it's better to get the mid tonics and stuff.
Yeah.
It's also a really good idea to get the mid ethers because the mid ethers are pretty expensive.
Yeah, well, first off, I'll admit, when it comes to expensive and selling stuff, you don't really need money much in this game. Yeah, you have more than enough throughout most of it.
I mean, at least for the way I play the game, I try to get good items as early as possible.
There's only one time in the game where money is kind of stupid with how much you need.
Yeah, and I actually went through with it.
Oh, what? That door didn't open all the way. Damn it, I can't get that chest. Either way, what I'm trying to do here is that this skeleton is actually an enemy, but sometimes it's kind of hard to set off. Which is kind of stupid, but I'm guessing it's based off of an encounter zone that's like 2 pixels big. Either way, this enemy is a Descendant, or Decendant as it's written there. 67 HP, no magic defense, 12 XP, 1 TP, 90 G, and it's dead. It's weak to lightning and fire, so you have an elemental thing you can take him out with both Chrono and Lucca. And it's technically... It also absorbs an element, but we haven't seen that element yet, so I'm not going to go over it. Either way, go ahead.
These guys are known as Blue Shields, or I believe they're also called Yodu Day.
Sentries are what they're called in DS, I know that much.
Okay, 24 HP, 253 defense, 100 magic defense, 100 experience points, 1 TP, and 45 G. They can drop tonic. So it's best to wait for them to open up and then take them out.
It is possible, very much so, to take them out when their shield's in front of them and thus their defense is at near max. It's just the fact that you want to take them out in 1 shot or 6.
I mean, if you're doing a New Game Plus, you can deal 9,999 damage to them.
Yeah, but this is a New Game Plus, so I don't know how that guy didn't see me, by the way. I
Please
think
pass
the
up.
guards do have a straight line of vision, so you don't have to worry about a view cone. And here we get some good items. However, this does lead to one thing, another new enemy. This guy will only show up if you go into that room, I believe. This next enemy is an Omnicron, or Omnicron, I don't know. 218 HP, 22 XP, 1 TP, 55 gold. It's immune to all elements, and basically magic in general, if I recall. And he could drop another. Or rather, he will, because the thing is about item drops in this game is that I believe they're guaranteed. Right, Ken?
Yeah, they should be guaranteed. From what I know, most, if not all of them, are guaranteed.
Yeah, which is better than, like, what reminds me of
Final Fantasy
Final Fantasy
12.
V. I was about to say 5, because 5 had some really annoying drops and steals to get.
That's true.
Same with 6. Stupid common versus rare steal.
6 is dumb sometimes.
Mind you, in 5, the things I try to steal the most are those, I think there's sunglasses from those enemies underneath that one castle.
I can't recall. I'll have to play the game again. What I have a hard time trying to steal is those dragon spears from the Crystal Dragon so I can fight Shinryu.
Oh, good lord. I forget my strategy for Shinryu. Either way, the cell block is actually kind of confusing in layout because finding your way out is a mix of going up and down and all around. I'm going out of my way a bit just so I can get every item, obviously. But my best thing would be with you is to go, if you're trying to just escape, head from the left from where the cell room or the execution room was, and then at your next opportunity, head up to the right. Also, climbing is kind of annoying, because you can only climb straight down, which is kind of stupid. And there's a shelter, but you can hop down this little hole that you might not even realize is a hole, and this will lead us to an earlier room. You could have been to the other side of this door, but you couldn't open it like the one above us. And here there's some good stuff. 1500G and a load sword, which you could have bought one earlier, but this is free and therefore better. It's also a pretty decent upgrade.
You can get one a little bit later on also, but it's better to get it now.
Yeah, because we're coming up on a fairly major boss fight.
I'll be honest, I actually died against that boss in my most recent playthrough.
Oh, dude. It's understandable because it can be difficult. And to investigate this guy in mid-tonic, and then 4 more. Anyway, here's your hint about this boss fight that's coming up. The Dragon Tank Owner's Manual. The head repairs any damage to the body, and it also has a shield that makes it immune to 2 specific elements. So we're going to need to have a bit of strategy of this boss fight, which means they introduced strategy in this a lot earlier than most Final Fantasies. Or early Final Fantasies.
My
at least.
issue,
7 did it pretty early.
my issue is not the head.
I know what you're talking about. Because that Dragon Tank is the next boss fight, and if you were paying attention at the very beginning of Part 1, this thing actually showed up in that little intro cutscene.
Ooh, this thing gives me nightmares sometimes. Okay, now we have the first major boss of the game, the Dragon Tank. 266 HP, well, not first major boss, but still. 266 HP, 160 defense, 6 magic defense, 40 experience point, 5 tech point, and 500 G. Then there's the grinder, which is the wheels. I hate those things. 208 HP, 120 defense, 6 magic defense. The meat no, that's it. Wait.
That's the next enemy. Dude, I have the
Oh, you
it's
have-
3 parts, so I get 1
You
part.
have you've got the tank head, got it.
Tank head is the beefiest part of the thing at 600 HP, but it has no defense and 85 magic defense. It's immune to electric and fire, as that note said, so you need to go physical attack against it, and it can heal the other parts. My main strategy with this is obviously first off, focus on the head so you can have an easier time taking out the other parts. And then once the head is down, Fire Whirl is the best way to go as a dual attack, because then you can only hit both parts, but they're not immune to any elements. And 1 Fire Whirl should take out the grinder to its low HP, but the tank might take a bit more. Whenever you see it say energy is stored in the wheel, that's when you know the grinder's preparing for attack. And the grinder attack, I think, is the most damaging thing this thing has, where it basically goes across the bridge and hitting both party members for about, what would you say, 70 HP?
Yeah, about 60, 70 HP.
Thankfully, I took care of it before I could do that attack, but let me tell you, if you haven't healed up, that could possibly kill you, and that would suck.
That's how it killed me. Yay.
Overall, though, Dragon Tank, Not too annoying, but it can do some decent damage. So if you want to keep someone on healing duty, once you see the healer, the grinder start preparing, that's completely understandable.
I really like the animations in this game. They're really nice.
actually, first off, they're surprisingly smooth for late Super Nintendo. And there's some good detail in them. Although I'll give the DS version more credit for them because they added a lot more individual frames for some animations. Like in battle, Chrono would be shaking left and right like he's prepared to strike or dodge at any time.
I need to play the DS version.
DS version is really good. I missed some of the translation stuff that they did because they updated the script and enemy names, obviously. But because of that, they also got rid of some of the jokes. However, the new post-game stuff, and not even post-game, some of the new mid-game stuff is really nice. Also, I love this game's boss theme.
I like the other boss theme, but we won't hear that for a while.
Yeah. And that's in the Dragon Tank. And for some reason, only this boss fight gets a little cutscene where you get to finish it off. I don't get why, but well, not from a design standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, I get why. Because these guys are going to try and idiotically fix an exploding tank. Which doesn't go well for them. Yeah, oh god.
I don't understand how this works, honestly.
Suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it. But yeah, that's the Dragon Tank, nothing too annoying. And now we can actually have a bit more exploration around the area. There's some chests you can grab around here, but there's some you cannot because now we're going to get chased down. If you head down to the Knight's Quarters, which is what the next floor down was, you can head down there too, but this exact same thing will happen. Hey, Marl.
Marl, help. Help, we're being gang banged. Help.
I find it funny that in terms, I understand why this is in terms of game design because it's the same sprite as her one from the past, but from a narrative standpoint, I always imagine they actually kept the exact same dress that Marl had back in 600. Because that's the exact same sprite from when she was Queen Lead.
I thought that was a blue one, but you're right, it was a green one.
And her father's spouting stuff we've all heard before. You're too young to be adventuring. You should be inside, be a proper girl. I'm Sean Connery.
Well, yay for tomboy princesses.
But she just said, screw you, Dad, I'm taking my friends and leaving. And the Chancellor's having people track us down. Great.
Yay for being a dick Chancellor.
I'm trying to figure out one thing. There's one thing about the narrative that I've always been trying to figure out about the Chancellor, but I'll go over that when it's more prevalent. Either way, we can't go back that way, so let's head this way. Whee! Oh, hey, a gate.
You didn't read the sign. The sign said dead end.
There's a sign there? I've always missed that, apparently.
Go in there.
Why are we just standing around here? Go in the damn gate, people.
Why are they even arguing?
I guess, well, the way that I look at it is that Lucca's the smartest one here, and she's worrying where it could send them.
Where it could send us, because it could send you, like, in the middle of the ocean, you know?
Yeah.
And, like,
Lucca thinks it's irrational, but we don't really have much of a choice. Though I always love talking to the Chancellor here.
It could send...
Move away from that hoodlum!
Well, I like the Chancellor's reaction surprise face.
Yeah, I love this right here. Oh! I'll give this game this. Its sprites are hella expressive.
I was surprised you didn't add a joke in there to commemorate that, because that's so worth it.
There's some things that you just don't want to touch upon, but
That's
we're
true.
in a place.
Hello, it's cold.
This looks
iron.
This looks hella dank.
Hella dank. This looks hella.
But apparently it's advanced, so where are we? Also, fun fact: the steel right here is actually the same one that's on those strange-looking chests.
Are you sure?
Weird. It is. It's a larger version, but it is. Where are we? We don't even know the time period. Okay, let's head into this building. Tron Dome.
Tran.
Oh, well, these guys don't look too healthy.
Oh boy.
This guy's a shop. He doesn't really sell anything new, though I do want to get an auto gun and 3 iron suits just because they're better. And 3 iron helms. Okay, maybe he does sell better stuff. Sorry, it's been a while since I recorded this.
Because I was bad.
Well, first off, Kenny's been away for about, what would you say, like 2 weeks, so recording wasn't really possible.
Recording was
And the fact
hard.
that this was rendered about 2 months ago.
Aha.
But these people have no idea what we're talking about. But this here is an Enertron. This is basically this part's in. Thing is about it, though, these guys don't really have food. So, our HP and MP is restored, but we're still hungry. That line is legendary. DS version changed it.
I must play the DS version.
DS is great. Either way, we don't really have much of an option to travel around here, so let's head into this area. Lab 16. This is a bit of an odd mini dungeon area because you can skip most of the encounters in here, but the interesting thing is something we'll be getting into in a moment. Either way, we got 2 new enemies here.
One of them is a meat eater, 75 HP, 19 experience points given, 1 tech point, and 60 gold, weak to fire, and can drop an ether.
And then we got the octopods. 130 HP, 77 defense, 90 magic defense, 12 XP, 1 DP, and 10 gold. They're weak to lightning, and they can drop mid-ethers, actually, and which restore 30 MP.
And they're also worth $1,000 if you sell them, which is good if you do the route that I go about, which is not good. Don't do that.
The way I generally go about getting money later in the game is selling certain items that you can get for trading with other items. But we'll go over that when we cross that road.
Trading for other
items.
items.
The meat eaters are kind of annoying because they can heal themselves and the other enemy, but as long as you spam a fire attack at them, they should go down in one shot. Thing is, though, I can be kind of stingy about MP, so there are times you'll see me in this playthrough where I could easily just use a spell or tech and one-shot them, but I'll just opt for the physical attack instead. I'm not exactly sure why I do that, though, because 22 MP for this point doesn't sound like a lot, but a lot of your tech points at this point cost like 2 or 3, so it is actually a decent chunk.
What I find really interesting is that Lucca and Marl have different animations for how close they are to the enemy.
Yeah, because they're technically projectile fighters. No other characters in the game use projectile weapons. Everyone else uses a sword or such. And right there we get the Berserker, which is one of my favorite accessories in the early game, especially for using against boss fights. More or less, it berserks you, which means you can't control your character, yes.
But it has higher attack.
Yeah, higher attack, and you get auto haste and auto protect, I think, which means your defense is buffed as well.
What? Okay, that's new.
I think. It's auto something, aside from haste. Either way, next new enemy is a Crater, 80 HP, 25 magic defense, 15 XP, 1 TP, and 35 gold. One thing you can do in this fight, actually, which I didn't do, is if you have Marl tackle the Meat Eater if you have Marl in the same position as me, which you should, if you have her target the Meat Eater in the back with a Flame Whirl, you'll actually hit all the enemies. But I killed the Meat Eater pretty quickly, so I wasn't able to do that, sadly. By the way, I love this song. I'll say that a lot.
Boss theme is the battle theme is great.
These rats right here are kind of annoying because if you touch them, they'll steal a tonic. And while that doesn't sound like much, tonics at this point restore, I think, what was it, 50 HP, which is like a third of our HP. And there's where
if
you
you
can
don't,
get Sword.
if you don't have any tonics left, do they steal anything at all?
I don't know, actually. I've never tested that because tonics are very common. Most enemies in the early game drop them. So I don't know what happens. Also, I accidentally missed a chest there, which I'm going to go back for.
Oh, I think they steal... You know what? I think I did try it once, and I think they stole 1,000 G, maybe 500 G or something like that. It was a pretty large amount.
That would be the next logical step, but I'm not entirely sure because I try not to touch them anyway. Lab 16, though, is a pretty simple layout. It looks like there's a lot of confusing pathways, but there's really not.
These are probably some of my favorite enemies in the game. These are shadows. They have a single hit point, like Sephiroth. 160 defense. I don't know why. They even have a defense stat because all of physical attacks will miss. They have 14 experience points, 1 tech point, and they drop 50 G. Most, if not all, physical attacks will miss. I think all physical attacks will miss.
I'm not sure if it's all, though. I could have sworn I hit them before, but I'm probably thinking of a later incarnation of that enemy type. Either way, last enemy for this part is a mutant. I hate these things. 300 HP, 22 XP, 1 TP, 30 gold, and they're weak to an element we do not have yet.
I didn't even know they were weak to an element to that specific element.
The thing is about them, though, is first off, they hurt, and they can suck HP away from a character into their own HP pool, as they're doing right now, which As you can see, 19 isn't that much, but that is a good 1/6 of my HP at this point, so that can be kind of deadly if you're not paying attention to your health. And they're also probably one of the strangest enemy designs in the game. That says a lot, given some of the later enemies.
A lot are just recolors of other enemies, but still, I still like it.
I do hate how some enemies look like you can avoid them, or no, it looks like you can avoid some enemy encounters, but you can't because they have such a large encounter area.
I swear I avoided that mutant once.
I've never been able to avoid it. Either way, welcome to the Eris Dome. Let's see what the people here have to say. Well, apparently we're a rare sight around here for some reason.
A rare sight?
Apparently crossing the ruins is incredibly difficult because for some reason, well, obvious reasons, because first off, these people are extremely hungry and they don't have much strength. Getting through that many mutants and enemies is probably very rare. And these people are giving us some information, like stay away from Death Peak. There's a guy living in a dome near the Death Peak. This is Doan, who is descendant of the director of this former information center. He's basically the closest thing this time period has to a king.
I beg to differ with that information.
I know what you're gonna think. I know what you're thinking about, but I'm not counting that because I mean amongst the humans.
Okay, got it.
The big problem with this, obviously, is that these people are extremely hungry, and while they can restore themselves with the Enertron almost every day, at some point that's not going to work much anymore. So, for humanity to survive, we need to find them some food. Also, this girl's a shop for some reason. She sells the exact same stuff the previous person did. Though I want to get one more iron suit and helm for something later on.
Hey, hey, hey.
There is a way for us to find out some information about this timeline, though, and it's to head down here. Down below, there's apparently a lot of enemies, but it's apparently very dangerous because of that. So we're risking our lives to go down there to not only try and get them some food, but to find some information. But we're not going to find out how our fate goes with that until next part. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys then.
Bye.
It's going to be interesting to hear.
Same. Oh God, that was bad. That almost
I can't wait
sounded
to hear
like...
how that came out.
Oh.